I'm Lynn Blend. I'm a drag queen, a Vtuber, and a horror enthusiast. And on this channel, I do videos about historical mysteries and horror media. Today's game is To Be With You, a psychological horror visual novel about an abusive relationship. As I was first getting acquainted with Cheratomo on Twitch, I learned that she was writing this game, and I was really intrigued to play it once it came out. It was definitely an emotional journey. Before we get into the game, I do want to give you some content warnings. This game contains depictions and discussions of emotional abuse, gaslighting, mental illness, and divorce, so please use your discretion and prioritize your mental health. I hit the start button. Oh, here we go. Finally, we're finally together. Long-distance relationships are never easy. We assumed 2 hours would be difficult, but not insurmountable. We were wrong. It was awful. Finally, after 4 terrible years, James graduated from his college. We're moving in together at last. We've dreamt about this for years and prepared for it for months. Things might be rough at first, but we're ready to weather the storm. James is particularly nervous. He's the one who had to move towns and find a new job. His van pulls up next to the curb of my apartment building, and I feel like I'm gonna float off the ground. James, you're finally here. I run out the door and fling myself around him, laughing. This is the beginning of the rest of our lives. But the first day isn't as happy as I hoped it would be. We were unpacking his stuff all day, trying to find space for him in my tiny one-bedroom apartment. I got rid of a ton of my stuff to leave room for him, but it wasn't enough. Something tells me that's a metaphor. We were exhausted, navigating where to move the bed and the desk through tense stretches of silence. Everything was off to a great start. Was it, girly? Sweaty and tired, all I want to do now is collapse on the couch and watch people make impossibly beautiful baked goods until I pass out. James, however, isn't tired at all. To the contrary, he's pacing in front of me and the TV, hands behind his back. Is something wrong? He avoids my eyes but stops moving. Yeah, so I have something to tell you. I motion him to come sit next to me. Of course, you can always tell me anything. He sits down, swallowing hard. He stops. I smile encouragingly, reaching out to pat his hand. His eyes flick to my face, then back down. I haven't meant to keep this a secret. It just never came up. I've been afraid of how you might take it, but now that we're living together, you're probably gonna find out. My heart skitters. Find out about what? Promise me you won't leave me. I'm a bit depressed. I'm hit by a relief so palpable and escapes me in a sigh. James makes a face. Sorry, I jumped to the worst conclusion possible. I thought you cheated on me. Of course I'm not cheating on you. I never would have thought you were depressed. You're always running around, meeting up with people, hosting those game nights. It was easy to hide when we barely saw each other. I could always make myself look busy even if I wasn't. But I'm trying to warn you, I can get really moody. The whole drive up here, I was thinking about how I'm going to do something to push you away when I'm in one of my moods. He looks deflated. I can't know how it'll work out between us. I feel like I'll let you down. I've tried to pull myself together for months and it hasn't worked. I'm still a mess. Eventually you'll see that. My heart twists. James stares past me, a hollowness carved into his face. I've never seen him look like this. You want us to stay together, right? Of course I do. But no buts. I want us to stay together. If you want us to stay together too, there's nothing to worry about, silly Billy. He smiles weakly, unconvinced. Seriously, I love you. I'm not gonna leave you when you're struggling. We both knew moving in together could be rough. We have to get used to know each other, and we're gonna find out stuff about each other we never knew. This is just one of those things. I'm willing to stick it through. I squeeze his hand, and finally he smiles. I am too. Have you been to see a therapist about this at all? I was seeing the college counselor. Now that I'm out here, though, it's not affordable. I bite my lip. James hasn't even started his job. The plan was I would quit my job so I could concentrate on school. There's a particularly valuable internship I'm hoping to qualify for, and my grades aren't up to snuff as it is. It's a long-term plan, but it leaves money tight for the time being. I already feel guilty about relying on James for money. I told him I would handle all the household chores in exchange, but as if reading my thoughts, James starts rubbing my back. I'm just like seeing red flag after red flag. Girly, I don't want you to stay at your job. I'm fine. My counselor gave me tools for dealing with this. I wasn't trying to make a big deal out of it. It's just something that's probably going to affect you. Maybe. No, it's important you qualify this year. I'm not in any danger. I can wait it out. I force a smile. If you say so. It'll only be a few more months. When things settle down, your therapy will be our first priority. Deal? Deal. We settle in rather quickly over the next few days. By the time James finished moving all his stuff in, there were only 2 days left before my classes started back up. He seems to be okay. He's not doing great, but not doing terrible either. Now that we're living together, I'm seeing what he meant about his moods. Sometimes I'll start in on a conversation, only for him to get supremely irritated. I'm trying to pay attention and learn which topics to avoid. This is like already, like, he's like fully making her feel responsible for his moods. Like, I'm already just like, oh honey, you're in danger, girl. Still, it's hard to see him upset this often. He's pulled me through so many dark spots. Even before we started dating, James was my best friend for years. He got me through failed tests, fights with friends, college anxieties, and my general fear of the future. Even when what I did was questionable, he believed in me when others didn't. He's always made me feel like I can do and be more. I want to do something to cheer him up. So, I got him a present. An exact replica of a sword from his favorite show. Every time the hero unsheaths it, James marvels at it. It's something he's always coveted. Maybe finally having that dream come true, with something tangible he can touch, will help him feel more at home here. This is really sweet. I wait until the night before his first day at work. Thankfully, he's still not as familiar with the apartment, so he didn't know about my hiding spot above the boiler. What's this? When I present it to him, his eyes shine with glee. It's heavy. What is this? He eagerly unwraps it as I struggle to look blasé. The lid comes off, and he lifts the blade out of its velvet tomb. Oh my god. He says it in sort of a flat way. He doesn't sound excited. It's the Oberon. Don't you recognize it? It's the real deal. An exact replica. So it is. He tests the sword in his hands. He tries to wield it one-handed, but it's so heavy he ends up having to hold it with both. After giving it a few timid swings, he sets it against the wall next to the door. Do you like it? Well, he takes a deep breath. I don't. I'm sorry. What? Actually, I thought you knew. I don't like collecting junk. I prefer to have fewer belongings. Junk? This thing. I mean, it's expensive. I know, because I looked into it once. I decided against it because I couldn't justify wasting money on something like this. Wasting? My voice comes out like a squeak and I clear my throat. Sorry, not... It's a nice gift, but we're living together now, and since money is tight, I thought we would be more careful than this. Of course, why didn't I think about that? I'm sorry, I was trying to help you feel more at home. I mean, I do like it. Kind of. Or I appreciate the thought, at least. He stops mid-sentence, his eyes widening for an instant before he turns away. James, what's wrong? It's nothing. No, I saw something happened. What's wrong? You look so sad. I won't be upset. It made me wonder whether you really know me all that well. That's all. I feel like I was trampled by a horse. Sorry, I'm sorry. This is why I didn't want to say. I know you care. My brain, we haven't been living together long. I've talked about this before, but maybe you didn't connect the dots. I'm so sorry. But I do love you, and I do listen. I have to pause because my throat is tightening up and I don't want to make everything worse by crying. I got all caught up in wanting you to be happy. I thought you loved this show so much you would love this. But you're right, I should have thought about it more. I'm sorry. I wanted to cheer you up. It's okay. He says it, but he still looks so sad. I want to hug him or something to make this awful moment a little better. Instead, James drifts towards our bedroom door. Sorry, I'd like to be alone for a little bit. I need to get myself back together. He goes into the bedroom and shuts the door. Alright, I'm the kind of person where, like, gift giving is, like, one of my love languages. I don't necessarily like receiving gifts. I love, like, it's a random Tuesday and I saw this in a store and thought of you kind of gifts. Like, I love doing that for people that I care about. If this happened to me, I would be crushed. I would be so upset. Really, there are always speed bumps in these situations. James needs time to himself when he's upset. It felt different when space was over a phone instead of within the same 1,000 square feet. But we just moved in together. He's got a new neighborhood, a new job. We're trying to make room for one another in our lives, and he's depressed. He's going through a lot right now. Hopefully, as the two of us adapt to these new circumstances, he'll go back to being more like his usual self. I get it, because, like, especially, like, when you're dealing with mental illness, like, especially moving, and, like, moving in with a partner is gonna be, like, super stressful, and, like, they're already worrying about money, and, like, I get that he'd be worried, but, like, he doesn't have to be shitty, you know? He doesn't have to take it out on her. Regardless, I love him. Even though it'll be hard, I want to support him through this. I know it'd be rough at first, and I'm not willing to turn my back on him when things get rough. That's something I promised myself I would never do. No matter what, we'll make it through this. That's right. It was about 3 years ago. I think my parents are gonna get divorced. His eyes widened. He placed his hand over my own. I'm sure that's not true. Everything will be fine. I stare him dead in the eyes. No, it won't. I was hoping things would get a bit easier for James after he started his job and had a new routine. Unfortunately, that wasn't in the cards. Despite the good word my dad put in for him, James immediately got on the wrong side of his boss. He thinks I'm arrogant, he thinks I'm a pushover, he thinks I'm entitled, and he wants to make me work hard to cure me of it. He comes home late every night, stressed out of his mind, a new anecdote about his boss or that coworker on his lips. I turned in the papers, but then Melissa told me I stapled them wrong. Stapled them wrong? Who cares how the papers are stapled? I did the work, didn't I? She could tell me nicely how to fix it. But no, she shouts it in front of everyone, and then she drops the papers on my desk and walks away. I feel like every office has a Melissa. It's hard enough to learn all this stuff on the fly, and now she's picking on me about staples. Half the time the anger shifts into sadness, and then he spirals. I hate this. I need to work for us to live, but I feel like I'm making everyone's lives harder. I'm making mistakes left, right, and center. I'm pathetic. It happened again tonight. To see him like this again, hanging his head, he looks like he's given up. Usually I can pick up his mood when he gets like this. I put on a show, get him some dinner, and he calms down. Everything ends up fine, but I was supposed to go out with Chelsea. It's our night to catch up and let off some steam. I glance from my phone to James. I know I can calm him down. And it's only one hangout with Chelsea. She won't be upset. Oh my god, the red flags. At this point, it's just like a sea of red flags. In a relationship, you shouldn't feel like you can't hang out with your friends. Like, stuff comes up, absolutely. Like, if there's like an emergency, like, I get like canceling on like a hangout with your friends, but like to feel like you literally like cannot leave your partner alone to go hang out with your friends. I hate it when I can't keep my word, and I promised her. Can I really leave James like this? So I have to make the choice now. You know what? I'm doing it. I'm going. I can't cancel on a friend. I'm not that kind of person. I creep out of the bedroom, tiptoeing towards the door. I've already dressed for the night. It's obvious. Hey, sorry. I was gonna head out tonight. Why are you apologizing? He pulls his head up. You are? I wince. Yeah, I promised Chelsea I would hang out with her. I'm met with deep silence. I fidget with my clothes. Oh, did I fuck up? So I'm gonna go... Chelsea, huh? He snorts. Go ahead. I figured. I pause, hand hovering over the doorknob. Figured? Figured what? It's nothing. Go ahead and go. Have fun. My hand still hovers over the doorknob. Figure what? He throws his arms up. It's not that hard to figure out. Of course you'd rather hang out with your friend than here with me. I make you miserable. You deserve to go out and have fun. What? No, it's not like that. I promised her, and I don't want to break my promise. He rolls his eyes. I'm sure you did. A tense silence. I'm racking my brain, trying to figure out how to approach this, when James says, Go ahead. Leave. I'll be fine. I frown. You will, right? Sure. I'll just call up my friends and go hang out with them. Oh wait, they're all on the other side of the state. James, I'll find something to do in here. This is basically my place now, too. Maybe I can redecorate a bit. James, stop it. What? You're being unfair. He snorts again and mutters something under his breath. It sounds like I'm the one being unfair. We stare at each other. I glance at my watch. Then I sit down with him. James, what's wrong? I don't want to fight with you. What's wrong is that you're... He stops, struggling for words. Then his shoulders slump. I'm sorry. I'm being a jerk. I knew it would happen. It's hard being up here. I don't know anybody. I have nobody to talk to except for you. Seeing you go out and have fun with your friends is kind of hard right now. Well, why don't you come with us? I'm not sure Chelsea would like that, but it would be better than this. He avoids my eyes. I don't want to. And why not? He pauses. I know you're not going to believe me, but I don't think Chelsea likes me. You don't? Of course not. Haven't you seen how she looks at me? And now he's like actively trying to separate her from her friends. I'm like seeing every red flag. She's always judging me. Always. We never got along before. I always got the impression she was waiting for us to break up. Now that we're living together, I bet it'll only get worse. That's silly. Why would she be wanting us to break up? She's known about us since I had a crush on you in high school. She's excited that we're living together now. You don't know her well enough yet. I knew you weren't going to believe me. It's not that I don't believe you. It's that you think you know better than me. Well, she hasn't come by to visit since I got here. Shouldn't that be something your best friend does when you finally move in with your long-distance boyfriend? I don't know. Should it? We're in college. She's busy. Don't take it personally. You're right. Everyone's busy. Except me. I'm just alone. He hangs his head again and I sigh. Then I head into the bedroom to change. I have to cancel on Chelsea, just this once. I stay up late comforting him and talking him past these thoughts. We put on his favorite show and it eventually turns into a pretty good night. As we head to sleep, we avidly discuss what we think will happen in the next episode. Next time, I tell myself, I won't cancel on her. He's so bright on stage, he's almost burning. I've never seen someone so talented. I've got to work harder at my own dreams. I need to catch up. Lately, his moods are getting worse. I used to be able to comfort him and work him out of his spirals. Now it's like they're stealing him away. I've been staying at home after school, trying to help him feel better, trying to keep him balanced. It's almost become like a second job. I haven't hung out much with my friends, and it's starting to take a toll on me. I warned them I wouldn't be around for a while, and they understood. They said they'd still be there when everything died down. But it's been hard. I miss them. I sigh. What's wrong? He looks up at me over his spaghetti. He's in an alright mood at the moment, eyes bright despite the tiredness wearing on his face. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna do it. I'm missing my friends a bit. I haven't seen them in a while. Why haven't you seen them? Can't you call them up and hang out? No, because you'll stop me from going. Yeah? I trail off. I didn't think this far ahead. I haven't exactly told him why I've been staying home with him every night. Isn't this sauce great? I think I really nailed it. I pop a bite of spaghetti into my mouth, but to no avail. He's still working out the implications of what I said. When he finally connects the dots, I see the realization on his face. You haven't seen them because we've spent so much time together, huh? I spin a fork in my spaghetti, unsure how to respond. You've had to take care of me, huh? Ridiculous. What? I mean, you're always having to clean up after me and help me feel better. Of course you miss them. Of course you want to see them instead of me. Why wouldn't you? Why does it have to be instead of? Like, that's so manipulative. Not again. That's not true. I love being around you. And I'll help you with whatever I possibly can. I love you. Sure you do. I'm a mess you have to babysit to help keep things together. What's not to love? Meanwhile, you're perfect. Everyone loves you. You should go hang out with your friends. You'd be better off with them. I'm not gonna leave you, James. You should. Leave me and go live the rest of your life. I'll be choking on your dust. James, don't be silly. I'm not being silly. I'm serious. You're gonna leave me eventually. Might as well be now. James, I'm not gonna leave you. I wanted to be here for you, that's all. Don't say that. You don't know whether you're gonna stay. What, and you do? I know better than you. I've been here before. Stop it. You can't just tell me I'm not gonna stay with you. I'm the one who makes that decision. You'll stay until it gets too rough on you. It's already happening. You wouldn't be the first. James, stop it. I love you, and love stays even when things are hard. I'm not gonna abandon you. So things are hard for you, huh? She might not want to abandon him, but I sure do. Oh my god. Maybe it's the tone of my voice, but James doesn't respond. I bite my lip. James, maybe we should consider therapy again. I know it's expensive, but we can afford... He stands abruptly, sending utensils skittering across the tabletop. I knew it. You want to fix me. I'm too much for you to handle. No, I'm just suggesting... Sure you are. He sweeps out of the kitchen, slamming the bedroom door behind him. I put my face in my hands, breathing deeply. We had tense nights before, but this is the worst by far. I shouldn't have brought therapy up. Not in this moment. Why on earth would I think that was a good idea? But he always comes home in such a bad mood, and he's always in a rush in the morning. When else was I supposed to suggest it? I don't know, but not then, not in the middle of an argument. I take another deep breath. Then without thinking, I leave. It's freezing out here. I didn't bring my coat. I won't be able to stay here long. But I needed to get away. Now that we're sharing the apartment, I have to leave it to get my space. I breathe out into the evening air, watching the resulting mist drift away from my face. I hate winter. Well, now what? I've gone and left like a child throwing a tantrum. I need to get my head on straight. What the heck was that? I scrunch up my face trying to remember what happened, but nothing coherent comes up. It happened so fast. I don't remember what exactly either of us said. But he was being mean. It hurt. Nothing like this has ever happened before. Back when we were in high school, James could be a bit rebellious. He's always had a biting sense of humor, but I don't remember him ever doing something just to upset someone. On the contrary, he was always trying to make people laugh, making our days a little less boring. He was ready to jump into the real world and show it what it was made of. I loved that about him. He was braver than I ever could be. In the end, he inspired me to pursue English seriously. Up until that point, I thought it was a pipe dream. No one ever makes money from an English degree. But he was so talented that I realized maybe I could try. I wanted to be on his level. He inspired me. I looked up to him. We were the only people who understood each other. What went wrong? Why is this happening now? It has to be everything we're dealing with. He's going through a hard time and he's taking it out on me. So, what? How should I handle this? My mom and dad didn't fight like this. I don't know how to make up. Or maybe they did. I don't know. Things happen behind closed doors. They happened behind closed doors, and one day it all fell apart. They gave up. I never want to give up like they did. But this fight scares me. I know things can get ugly in relationships. Is this what people mean? When people say you have to work for a relationship that lasts? Is that what this is? Is it smart to keep going? Oh, I wanna say, girly, get out of there, because I know it's gonna get worse. But also, this is a game I want to play more of the game. If this was real life, if I was like her bestie, if I was Chelsea, I would be like, girly, get the fuck out of there. But since I'm playing this game and I want to experience more of the game, I'm gonna keep going. It's too early to call it quits. James was there for me after my parents divorced. He believed me when no one else would. After what James and I have been through together, he deserves my support. Even if he did upset me this time, I have to forgive him. By the time I make it home, my heart's in my throat. I try to sneak back inside, but the front door lets out a loud groan. I've never had to sneak into my own place. I didn't realize it would betray me. Quickly, I close the door behind me and take off my shoes. I hear him entering the living room. I avoid his eyes. I don't want him to see my face, but I'm not sure what I'm feeling. Alsie? I concentrate on putting my shoes away. To be honest, I'm embarrassed. Ashamed. We had a fight so bad I ran away. I don't know how to deal with this. It's freaking me out. Alsie, please, look at me. I look at him. He's crying. Alsie, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You are? Yes. He rushes over and he pulls me into a giant hug. I tentatively wrap my arms around him and he shudders against me. He's not crying, he's sobbing. I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve any of that. I was a beast. I don't know how you put up with me. James, hold on. Calm down. Let's talk about this, okay? I'm such a fool. You stayed here to support me all this time, and all I did was to thank you was yell at you. I'm so awful. James... I pull away from him so I can see his face. His eyes are red and swollen. He's been crying for some time now. He looks destroyed, small, like a little kid. You know that wasn't okay, right? Of course I do. Of course I do. I'm so sorry. You were right. You always are, you know. In the end, you always are. James, seriously, I should have listened to you. I'm sorry. It's hard for me, but I'm going to try not to do that again. Not to you. Not to someone as perfect and precious as you. You're the last person who should see something like that. A silence falls between us as I mull things over. He understands what happened wasn't okay. Even better, he figured it out on his own. He understood and he'll try to do better. That's all I wanted. Besides, what all happened tonight? We got upset at each other because we miscommunicated, that's all. It was a little argument. Everyone fights sometimes. You know, it's funny. I was really upset earlier, but now it kind of seems like it wasn't that big a deal. He smiles. I'm glad you feel that way. I'll make sure to be more careful from now on. For the first time tonight, I truly smile at him. Thank you so much, James. I love you. I love you too. Oh, girly. We will find out the ramifications of that decision next time on To Be With You. Special thanks to my Ko-Fi supporters, Andara, Lotus, Ruby, Salika, and Smallzy. You can see all of my videos early and get sneak peeks of my upcoming projects at ko-fi.com/Lynn Blend. Thanks so much for watching.